This is the Google Pixel 7, which could be the perfect entry point for anyone who's looking to get into Google's ecosystem without breaking the bank. And after using it for the last week or so, I have some thoughts about it. So in this day in the life, I'm going to be showing you guys what it's really like to use the Google Pixel 7 in 2025. It's currently 8:45, our battery percentage is now at 100%. Let's get into this day in the life. Alright, so now we've reached uni. It's now currently 10:30 and our battery percentage is at 91%. Now let's talk about the display on the Pixel 7. The Pixel 7 is equipped with a 6.3-inch AMOLED display with a 90Hz refresh rate and a Full HD Plus resolution, which is about a 416 pixel per inch density. It has HDR10 Plus notification, so it's great for watching movies and content as well. Now honestly, the display here is pretty responsive and feels pretty fluid even though it's only 90Hz. It doesn't feel too different from 120Hz, but the technology behind it is pretty basic, only switching between 60 to 90Hz, which isn't saving the most battery life. Now when it comes to brightness, it can get up to 1000 nits in high brightness mode or 1400 nits in peak brightness mode. And honestly, it isn't a bright day today, but in other days where it's been really bright, it's really hard to see the screen in direct sunlight, which is something that I found pretty annoying. So something to keep in mind if you are planning on using your phone in bright environments. Honestly, the display on the Pixel 7 is quite nice, but it does lack quite a lot of flagship features. But it's still responsive, has good colors, so altogether, the display on the Pixel 7 gets a B grade. Alright, now, time to get a matcha latte. Let's get going. Thank you. And now that I got my matcha latte, time to head off to the next campus. I don't have a phone, dude. The entire bus right here, I'm like, I wonder where everyone's gonna be. Alright, so it's now 12:09, our battery percentage is at 74%. Let's talk about the performance on the Pixel 7. The Pixel 7 is equipped with the Tensor G2 chipset, which is also the same one that's found on its bigger brother, the Pixel 7 Pro. In terms of benchmarks and performance, it's about the same as the Exynos 2200, but what's different is that it's way more optimized than the Exynos 2200. For my day-to-day usage, I found that everything is super optimized, smooth, and very fluid. Apps are quick to launch and multitasking is super easy, and the RAM optimization is great as well. But just like the S22 with the Exynos 2200, the Pixel 7 also suffers from overheating. If you're doing a lot of intense gaming or heavy multitasking, you'll feel the phone start to slow down a little bit. In fact, when I video called my friend Jiawei, it actually heated up quite a lot after just 2 minutes of video calling. And when you start multitasking while video calling, it does heat up even more quicker and sometimes starts a little bit more. Once it starts overheating, you do notice that the performance starts to throttle down a bit, so that's something to keep in mind if you are planning on doing heavy multitasking or gaming on the Pixel 7. If you're not planning on doing heavy multitasking or gaming and just planning on just doing moderate usage on the Pixel 7, like social media and scrolling, then this thing can do everything you want pretty quickly. It's efficient, it's quick, it's fast, it's optimized, but if you do push it a little bit more, expect some overheating. So altogether, the performance on the Pixel 7 deserves a B grade. Now, it's time to get out of this cafe. I've got quite a lot of things to do today, so let's get on to it now. So I've done a few readings for my classwork, and today we've got a pretty busy day. Got a few classes over here. So, time to get a change of scenery, continue on with my work. Alright, so it's now 1:07, battery percentage is now 71%. Time to get some lunch before I head off to my next class at 1:40. This is what time.
It was hot.
Hot and
Okay, so I just had my first class of the day, now heading off to my second class. Then still have to do a meeting after that. It's now currently 2:33. Battery percentage is at 63%. Next class is in 7 minutes, so let's get going there. Alright, so finish up the second class, finish up the meeting. It's now 4:09, batch percentage is at 58%. Now time to head off to a seminar. Alright, so now it's 4:26, 54% on the Pixel 7. Now let's talk about the cameras on the Pixel 7. So it's equipped with a dual camera setup, 150 megapixel main camera and a 12 megapixel ultra wide, along with a 10 megapixel selfie camera. We've got my friend here, Haru. So let's take a few photos and see how they look. Starting off with photos from the main camera, we get some great dynamic range, tones, colors, and sharpness. Photos look pretty natural, and cropping into 2x doesn't lose too much quality either. In low light, the photos look pretty decent with not too much noise and pretty good sharpness. On the ultra-wide camera, photos look pretty similar to the main camera, but with slightly less dynamic range and a lower resolution. So not quite as sharp as the main camera, but decent enough. Selfies are surprisingly pretty good, and the results are actually quite nice with decent dynamic range, sharpness, and tones. Portrait mode is alright, but it does suffer from pretty bad edge detection. Now on the video side, you can shoot up to 4K 60 and the video quality looks pretty good to me. It's got pretty good dynamic range and so far it looks pretty good, especially with optical image stabilizations. And this is what it looks like with the ultra wide lens, which honestly isn't too wide. It's not super ultra wide, but it's good enough for vlogging. So when it comes to the cameras on the Pixel 7, you are getting that classic dual setup with a good main wide camera and a decent ultra wide along with a decent selfie camera, but they're nothing amazing, and in 2025 they still hold up well, but you really aren't getting much more than there. So altogether, the Pixel 7 gets a B grade for its cameras. Anyways, time to head off to the seminar.
Guys, it's 6:12 at the moment. Its percentage is 43%. And we're going to steaks, get some steaks for tonight, for dinner. See you guys there. Oh, we go this way. I came back from the seminar of discernment. Yeah, it was pretty great. Really good talk from Cam McKenzie. Big ups.
Well, this is a whole night talk when I walk uphill, so slow both ways. Thank you.
Let's talk about the design, software, and the features of the Pixel 7. The Pixel 7 is made out of metal and Gorilla Glass Victus and feels quite premium in the hand. It looks pretty iconic and is also quite ergonomic to hold, curving around my hands. Software-wise, it gets the first updates for Android and is already running the latest version, 16. It should get a few more years of updates until Android 18, which is great, and I personally like the pure stock Android experience. It's bloat-free, it feels very smooth, and is fluid. On the feature side, we get an optical fingerprint scanner that is positioned very nicely for your thumb to rest on, USB 3.2, and wireless charging. Charging is capped at 20 watts, but that's to be expected. Altogether, the design, features, and software are very premium and a great package for anyone looking for that flagship experience, especially their stock Android vibe that also has support for the next few years. Altogether, the Pixel 7 deserves an A- grade. Now we're back at home. It's now 9:55 and the battery percentage is at 17%. So we've reached the end of my day in the life test. So let's take a look at the battery performance of the Pixel 7, see how it did throughout the day. So today we had a screen on time of 3 hours and 53 minutes with 17% left, which is actually pretty decent, especially for a phone that's about a couple years old. That's not too bad. Altogether, the battery performance on the Pixel 7 gets a B+ grade. Now let's remember my thoughts about the Pixel 7 as a whole. After using the Pixel 7 for a whole week, I honestly quite enjoyed this phone. There's a lot of things I like about it, especially the OS. Stock Android has been great to use and it's very optimized. You really do benefit from having that true Google experience. But other than that, there are a few areas where this phone really doesn't meet their flagship experience. You're getting good performance at the expense of overheating, a display that's pretty hard to see in direct sunlight, it's only 90Hz as well. But if you are after that Pixel experience, then this is definitely the right place to start. In my opinion, if you're looking for an entry point into the Google Pixel line of phones, Pixel 7 definitely a great choice without breaking the bank. So altogether, the Pixel 7 receives a 73 out of 100 rating, or B grade, which is honestly pretty good and about on par with the S22, which I reviewed last week. So that's what you need to know if you're considering getting the Pixel 7 in 2025. I'm Upwards. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.